Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about laziness and how it's time to kill it once and for all. Because let me tell you something, your dreams are too important to remain just dreams. Now, I want you to think about something for a moment. What's the difference between the life you're living right now and the life you've always imagined for yourself? What's standing between you and your goals? Is it lack of opportunity? Is it lack of resources? Or is it something much simpler, much more insidious? Is it laziness? You see, laziness is like a comfortable old chair. It's easy to sink into, easy to get used to, but the longer you sit in it, the harder it becomes to get up. And while you're sitting there, life is passing you by. Opportunities are slipping through your fingers. Your dreams are fading away. But here's the thing. You have the power to change that. You have the power to stand up, to push that chair aside, and to start moving toward the life you want. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how to kill your laziness, how to stop letting your dreams be just dreams, and how to start turning them into reality. Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to be lazy? It doesn't take any effort at all. You can do it without even thinking about it. But have you also noticed how being lazy never gets you anywhere? It never improves your life. It never brings you closer to your goals. On the other hand, have you ever accomplished something difficult? Have you ever pushed yourself beyond what you thought you were capable of? How did that feel? I bet it felt amazing. I bet it made you proud of yourself. I bet it made you want to do even more. That's the difference between laziness and action. Laziness feels good in the moment, but leaves you feeling empty and unfulfilled. Action might be difficult, it might be uncomfortable, but it leads to growth, to achievement, to a life you can be proud of. So how do we make that shift? How do we kill our laziness and start taking action? Well, it starts with a decision. It starts with you saying, enough is enough. I'm not going to let my dreams just be dreams anymore. I'm going to make them happen. But here's the catch. That decision isn't a one-time thing. It's not something you do once and then you're set for life. No, it's a decision you have to make every single day. Every morning when you wake up, you have to choose. Are you going to be lazy today, or are you going to take action? And let me tell you, some days it's going to be hard. Some days you're going to want to stay in bed to put off your goals for another day. But those are the days that matter most. Those are the days when you have the opportunity to prove to yourself what you're really made of. Because here's the truth. Success isn't about what you do when you feel motivated. It's about what you do when you don't feel like doing anything at all. It's about pushing through the resistance, about doing what needs to be done, even when every fiber of your being is telling you to take it easy. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. You might be thinking, Jim, that sounds hard. That sounds like a lot of work. And you know what? You're right, it is hard. It is a lot of work. But let me ask you this, what's the alternative? The alternative is to stay where you are. To keep dreaming about a better life, but never actually doing anything to make it happen. To watch as other people achieve their goals while you stay stuck in the same place. Is that really what you want? I don't think it is. I think you're here today because you want more. You want to achieve your dreams. You want to live a life that makes you proud. And that's exactly what you can do if you're willing to kill your laziness and start taking action. Now let's talk about how to do that. Let's talk about some practical steps you can take to overcome laziness and start turning your dreams into reality. The first step is to get clear on what you want. What are your dreams? What kind of life do you want to live? What do you want to achieve? You need to have a clear vision of where you're going, because if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. So take some time to really think about what you want. Write it down. Be specific. Don't just say, I don't want to be successful. What does success look like to you? Is it a certain amount of money in the bank? Is it a particular job title? Is it the ability to travel the world? Get clear on what you want, because that clarity will give you direction and motivation. Once you know what you want, the next step is to break it down into smaller, manageable goals. You see, one of the reasons we often feel lazy is because our dreams seem too big, too overwhelming. We don't know where to start, so we don't start at all. But when you break your big dreams down into smaller goals, suddenly they become much more achievable. Instead of saying, I want to be a millionaire, you might say, I want to save $1,000 this month. Instead of saying, I want to write a book, you might say, I want to write 500 words today. These smaller goals are much less intimidating. They're things you can actually do today, right now. And here's the beautiful thing. As you achieve these smaller goals, you'll build momentum. You'll start to see progress. And that progress will motivate you to keep going. Now, once you have your goals set, the next step is to create a plan. A goal without a plan is just a wish, and wishes don't come true unless you make them happen. So take your goals and figure out what steps you need to take to achieve them. If your goal is to save $1,000 this month, your plan might include things like creating a budget, cutting out unnecessary expenses, and finding ways to increase your income. If your goal is to write 500 words a day, your plan might include setting aside a specific time each day for writing, eliminating distractions during that time, and coming up with writing prompts to help you get started. The key is to be as specific as possible with your plan. Don't just say, I'll work on my goal when I have time. Make time, schedule it, treat it like an important appointment that you can't miss. And speaking of time, let's talk about how you're using yours. You see, one of the biggest excuses for laziness is, I don't have time. But here's the truth. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. It's not about having time, it's about making time. So I want you to take a good, hard look at how you're spending your time. Are you using it wisely? Are you using it in ways that bring you closer to your goals? Or are you wasting it on things that don't really matter? Now, I'm not saying you can't have any downtime. Rest and relaxation are important. But there's a big difference between taking a break to recharge and wasting hours scrolling through social media or binge watching TV shows. If you want to achieve your dreams, you need to be intentional with your time. You need to prioritize the activities that will bring you closer to your goals. And yes, sometimes that means sacrificing some of the things you enjoy in the short term for the sake of what you want in the long term. But here's the thing. When you start using your time wisely, when you start making progress towards your goals, you'll find that it's far more satisfying than any temporary pleasure. The joy of achievement, the pride of knowing you're working towards something meaningful, that's what will truly make you happy. Now, let's talk about another important aspect of overcoming laziness. Your environment. You see, your environment has a huge impact on your behavior. If you're surrounded by lazy people, if your space is cluttered and disorganized, if you're constantly bombarded with distractions, it's going to be much harder to stay motivated and focused. So take a look around you. Is your environment supporting your goals, or is it holding you back? If it's holding you back, it's time to make some changes. Surround yourself with motivated, ambitious people. Their energy will rub off on you. They'll inspire you, challenge you, and hold you accountable. Clean up your space. An organized environment leads to an organized mind. Remove distractions. If social media is eating up your time, delete the apps from your phone. If TV is your weakness, cancel your streaming subscription. Create an environment that makes it easy to take action and hard to be lazy. Put your running shoes by the door if you want to start exercising. Keep a book on your nightstand if you want to read more. Set up your workspace in a way that makes you want to sit down and get to work. Remember, your environment shapes your behavior. So shape your environment in a way that supports your goals. Now let's talk about habits. Because ultimately, overcoming laziness isn't about a single burst of motivation. It's about developing habits that support your goals and dreams. You see, we are creatures of habit. We do the same things day in and day out, often without even thinking about it. And that can be a problem if our habits are holding us back. But it can also be a powerful tool if we develop the right habits. So how do we develop good habits? It starts with small actions repeated consistently. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. In fact, trying to do too much at once is often a recipe for failure. Instead, focus on one small habit at a time. Maybe it's waking up 30 minutes earlier each day. Maybe it's reading for 15 minutes before bed. Maybe it's doing 10 push-ups every morning. Whatever it is, make it small enough that you can do it consistently, even on your worst days. Then commit to doing that small action every single day. No excuses. No days off. Because here's the thing about habits. Consistency is key. It's better to do a little bit every day than to do a lot once in a while. As you stick with these small habits, something amazing will happen. They'll start to become automatic. You won't have to force yourself to do them anymore. They'll just become part of who you are. And once that happens, you can start adding more habits. You can start increasing the difficulty. Before you know it, you'll have transformed your entire life through the power of small, consistent actions. Just now, I want to address something that often holds people back from taking action. Fear, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of the unknown. These fears can be paralyzing. They can keep us stuck in our comfort zone, content with dreaming but never doing. But here's the truth about fear. It's just a feeling. It's not real. It's not tangible. It can't actually stop you from doing anything. The only power fear has over you is the power you give it. So instead of letting fear hold you back, I want you to start seeing it as a signpost. When you feel fear, that's a sign that you're moving in the right direction. It's a sign that you're pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. And that's where growth happens. Remember, courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is feeling the fear and taking action anyway. So when you feel that fear creeping in, acknowledge it, thank it for trying to protect you, and then do what you need to do anyway. Because here's the thing. On the other side of fear is everything you've ever wanted. Your dreams, your goals, the life you've always imagined for yourself. It's all waiting for you. But you have to be willing to push through the fear to get there. Now let's talk about something that's crucial for overcoming laziness and achieving your dreams. Self-discipline. Self-discipline is the ability to make yourself do what you need to do even when you don't feel like doing it. And let me tell you, self-discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. But if you don't use it, it atrophies. It gets weaker. So how do you strengthen your self-discipline? You practice it every single day. You do the things you know you need to do, even when you don't want to. You make the hard choices. You delay gratification. When you feel like hitting the snooze button, you get up anyway. When you feel like skipping your workout, you do it anyway. When you feel like procrastinating on that important project, you sit down and get to work anyway. Each time you do this, you're building your self-discipline muscle. You're proving to yourself that you have the power to control your actions regardless of how you feel in the moment. And here's the beautiful thing about self-discipline. As it gets stronger, everything else gets easier. The habits you're trying to build become more automatic. The goals you're working towards become more achievable. The person you're trying to become gets closer and closer to reality. But remember, building self-discipline takes time. It's not something that happens overnight. There will be days when you slip up, when you give in to laziness, and that's okay. The key is not to let those slip-ups derail you completely. Instead, when you mess up, acknowledge it, learn from it, and then get right back on track. Don't waste time beating yourself up. Don't use it as an excuse to give up. Just get back to it. Because here's the truth. The path to success isn't a straight line. It's full of ups and downs, twists and turns. What matters isn't that you never fall down. What matters is that you always get back up. Now let's talk about something that's often overlooked when it comes to achieving our dreams, the power of our thoughts. You see, our thoughts shape our reality. What we think about, we bring about. If you constantly tell yourself that you're lazy, that you can't achieve your dreams, guess what? You'll prove yourself right. But if you start thinking of yourself as someone who takes action, someone who is capable of achieving great things, you'll start acting in alignment with those thoughts. So I want you to start paying attention to your self-talk. What are you telling yourself on a daily basis? Are those thoughts supporting your goals, or are they holding you back? If you catch yourself thinking negative thoughts, challenge them. Replace them with positive, empowering thoughts. Instead of saying, I'm too lazy to do this, say, I have the power to take action and achieve my goals. And don't just think these thoughts passively. Say them out loud. Write them down. Make them your personal mantras. Because the more you repeat these positive thoughts, the more they'll become ingrained in your subconscious mind. And when that happens, taking action will become your default state. Now I want to address something that often trips people up on their journey to success. Comparison. In today's world, with social media and constant connectivity, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparing ourselves to others. We see someone else's highlight reel and think, why can't I be like that? Why am I not as successful as them? And those thoughts can be incredibly demotivating. They can make us feel like our own progress isn't good enough, like our own dreams aren't worth pursuing. But here's the truth. Ye only person you should be comparing yourself to is the person you were yesterday. Are you making progress? Are you better today than you were yesterday? That's what matters. Because everyone's journey is different. Everyone's timeline is different. What looks like overnight success to you might be the result of years of hard work behind the scenes. What seems easy for someone else might be incredibly difficult for you, and vice versa. So stop worrying about what everyone else is doing. Focus on your own journey. Celebrate your own progress, no matter how small it might seem, because every step forward, no matter how tiny, is still a step in the right direction. And speaking of progress, let's talk about the importance of tracking it. You see, when we're working towards big goals, it's easy to lose sight of how far we've come. We're so focused on where we want to be that we forget to appreciate where we are. That's why it's crucial to track your progress. Keep a journal. Use a habit tracker. Take regular measurements, whether that's of your weight if you're trying to get in shape, your savings if you're working towards financial goals, or your word count if you're writing a book. Seeing your progress in black and white can be incredibly motivating. It shows you that your efforts are paying off, even if it doesn't always feel like it in the moment. And on those days when you're feeling lazy, when you're tempted to give up, looking back at how far you've come can give you the push you need to keep going. Now let's talk about something that's absolutely crucial for achieving your dreams: perseverance. Because here's the truth. The path to success is rarely smooth. There will be obstacles. There will be setbacks. There will be times when you feel like giving up. But the difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who don't isn't talent or luck. It's perseverance. It's the ability to keep going even when things get tough. Think about any successful person you admire. I guarantee you they faced challenges. They had moments of doubt. They probably wanted to quit at some point, but they didn't. They kept going, and that's why they succeeded. So when you face obstacles, and you will face obstacles, don't see them as reasons to give up. See them as opportunities to grow stronger. See them as tests of your commitment to your dreams. Because here's the thing, obstacles don't just test us, they strengthen us, they force us to find new solutions, to develop new skills, to become better versions of ourselves. So embrace the challenges. Welcome them, because each obstacle you overcome brings you one step closer to your dreams. And remember, perseverance isn't about never feeling tired or discouraged. It's about feeling those things and pushing through anyway. It's about getting back up every time you fall down. It's about taking one more step when every fiber of your being is screaming at you to quit. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand something profound. Your dreams are not just idle fantasies. They are glimpses of what you can become, of what you can achieve. They are your potential calling out to you. But they will remain just dreams unless you take action. Unless you kill your laziness and commit to making them a reality. So I challenge you today. Don't let your dreams be dreams anymore. Take that first step. Make that decision to change. Commit to taking action every single day, because you have greatness within you. You have the power to create the life you've always imagined. And the world is waiting for you to share your gifts, to make your unique contribution. The time is now. Your future self is counting on you. Go out there and make your dreams a reality.